Hey everyone, Benny the Comicstorian here, bringing you my usual court-mandated vlog. Now, I know I made a video yesterday, but that wasn't court-mandated. This one's court-mandated. I have to say it in the front of the videos, otherwise this running gag won't be funny. I can't just say it randomly in a month. I have to say it in front of a video. So, this is the court-mandated vlog. A lot of you guys are asking me what my opinions are on the Luke Cage television show that just hit Netflix recently. And unlike a lot of other people who like to chat it out and then hash out their ideas, I like to give you guys my raw opinions on the show or what I've done by not talking to anyone and just watching the movie or the show that I'm involved in and then immediately filming my thoughts. Sometimes this is bad, sometimes this is good. This is not a legit review by any means. We're not going to be looking at pacing or the situations that are and how they relate to the real world events or anything like that. This is going to be the opinions of a guy who reads way too many comic books in his time and what he thinks about the Luke Cage TV show. That being said, let's go ahead and move forward. Starting from the top, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my spoiler-free opinion of it, just in case you just want to know that and you don't want to get spoilers. My spoiler-free opinion on the whole thing is, it's okay. I wouldn't prioritize it over any other shows that are out there right now, but I would make sure I watch it before the next Netflix Marvel TV show comes out. I don't see a reason to binge watch it, but it is a good show. That being said, let's go ahead and move into my spoiler review. Starting off from the top, I liked the atmosphere they made for the show. I liked it being in Harlem. I liked the gang warfare at the beginning. I liked the idea that Luke Cage is trying to hide from his powers and hide from who he is and what he does. And I really liked the music that they used in this show. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to find a track that sounds very similar to put on this opinions video. But that being said, I feel like it's the worst out of the Netflix Marvel shows. But don't worry, guys, I'm not saying it's a horrible show by any means. That's like placing third in the Olympics. You still trained and got to the Olympics and you're still in this world-class event. You're just third. So, first off, Luke Cage starts off really, really slow. The idea is that Luke Cage doesn't want to be involved in any of this stuff and he just wants to live his life and protect Pops and protect this like barber shop area. Okay, I get that. That's a cool idea. Then he ends up getting wrapped up into with the gangs and he ends up fighting against Cottonmouth. Once again, I like that idea. It's kind of similar to what they did with Kingpin, but they're doing it from a different view and a different take on it. This one's in Harlem with a gang leader that people know are horrible. They know that he's a horrible individual and they know that he's killing people, but they can't do anything about it. Kingpin was hiding everything he's doing, so that's why it was like scary to see what he was doing behind the scenes. So while we do have a lot of parallels to the Daredevil show, we do have a different take on it, you know? Because Luke Cage is not a martial artist. Luke Cage is a guy who's bulletproof, and that's his one power outside of super strength. So he walks in, gets shot up, does some cool scenes like ripping a car door off, using it as a shield, walking forward, stuff like that. That was cool. He fought against Cottonmouth, and then Cottonmouth ended up dying. That's where, for me, the show kind of like jumped off. We went to Mariah Black, I think that was her last name, either way it was Mariah. She took over as like the lead protagonist, the congresswoman trying to save Harlem, but in actuality she wanted to control Harlem. And we had a gang war going on, and we had another individual, Stryker, arrive to basically fight against Luke Cage now that Luke Cage has gotten famous. And this is where the show started to really get really slow, and I wasn't really enjoying it. So we had, and bear in mind, I'm kind of remember this off the top of my head, but at least 4 episodes, I think it was closer to 5, where Luke Cage was pretty much out of action, and we didn't have very much action actually happening. He had been shot, he was being healed up, and what we saw was Mariah and Stryker and Shades and all these gang individuals fighting against each other for power. Now, on paper, that sounds really cool, and I like the idea of gang warfare, seeing Harlem's crime levels and stuff like that. But the problem is, this is a superhero TV show, and I think that's my issue with the Luke Cage show. It's almost as if they wanted to, like, the writer maybe didn't want to do Luke Cage and push him off to the side while they did this whole crime lifestyle thing going on to fight against him. Almost reminding me of like a Game of Thrones kind of thing, where everyone's trying to like work together, but they're all betraying each other and killing each other. That's definitely how I felt the situation was going, and I really got bored midway through. I was binge watching the show up until about episode 7 or 8, and then I just was like, oh, I'm gonna watch one, and then I'm gonna watch one, and then I'm gonna go watch some YouTube videos, and then I'm gonna play a video game, and then I'll come back and watch another one. And it wasn't until about episode 10 that I really just started, okay, we're gonna keep going, things are getting crazy again. At episode 10, the show picks back up. Luke Cage has now come back. All of the crime groups and gangs and all this stuff, they've now framed Luke Cage for murder and various other things, so he's back to clear his name and get rid of the crime aspect of Harlem. And that was cool again. He showed up. We had some lackluster fights because once again, he's not a martial artist, so you gotta kind of accept that. And then he ended up winning, and in the end, we get a cliffhanger into the next season. And those are two things that really kind of bothered me. First off, the Stryker character, while amazing for Luke Cage to fight, I didn't understand why everyone was so afraid of him. Because you were definitely getting the vibe that Stryker just showed up and started taking control of everything, and everyone just agreed. Like Shades was a very powerful individual who seemed like he would have been able to take control with Mariah's help, but the Stryker just shows up and starts telling everyone what they're gonna do, he's gonna shoot him. Why did no one just shoot Stryker and put an end to that whole thing? Things like that kept coming up that made me question what was happening. And then Luke Cage shows up and the show kind of ends at the beginning of episode 12. And then we get like an epilogue episode where Luke Cage is actually arrested and has to go answer for crimes he did before the show even started. And I wonder there if we're setting up for season 2, or if we're setting up for Defenders, or if we're setting up for Iron Fist. Personally, I think we're setting up for Iron Fist because I looked it up and they said that the next season of Luke Cage would be after Defenders. So I have a feeling something's gonna happen in Iron Fist where he gets freed and helps out Danny Rand, and then we're gonna go into Defenders where they're working together, or in Defenders they free him. Either way, we don't know. We're gonna find out coming up. But that's kind of how I felt about the show. Very slow in the middle. A lot of the stakes that they were presenting didn't seem very high because yeah, the gangs are fighting. Yeah, someone's trying to get power. But this is a superhero TV show, and we kind of, even though Netflix is darker, we already know that in the end, Luke Cage is going to show up and stop them. So why did we devote so many episodes to the family fighting, like Mariah and Shades and Stryker battling and trying to take control, when in actuality, like, no one actually wanted to work together, and the enemy of the enemy is my friend kind of thing came up at the end. It was just weird. I felt like the middle just really wasn't needed. We had Luke Cage injured. He should have gone to heel. He should show back up. Then we could just jump right into while Cage was gone, Mariah has been fighting with Stryker. Hey, this is what you missed. You need to fight against it. But instead we get to see it all happening. Like I said, this is just my direct opinions after watching the show. I haven't looked anything up. I haven't confirmed anything from the show itself. So I'm gonna go get on a podcast right after I get done talking with you guys to talk to all of the other podcast hosts on the weekly poll about Luke Cage. And my opinions may change around a little bit, but this is my actual opinions right out of the show. Great show, loved the music. Music was incredible. Loved the camera work, loved the lighting, loved the appearance. I loved the jokes and the Easter eggs to the 1970s Luke Cage. I like how everything mentioned other stuff that was going on, like Captain America, the Avengers, Daredevil, all that stuff. Even Jessica Jones got a mention in there, but none of the characters showed up. Overall, it's a good show, and honestly, if you have Netflix already, you're just gonna watch it, so I mean, you don't need to know my full opinion on it, but that's it. I liked it. Not the best one. Can't wait to see what they're gonna do with the Luke Cage character. I don't want to make this run too long because since it is my raw opinions, you guys might battle with me down below and be like, oh, Stryker showed up and he took control by doing this and the families were in charge of this and that's what was happening there. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's the case. And if, you know, that's what we're going to find out. I just got a text message, which I should probably check up on. So don't forget, if you guys want to get more of my opinions on things, subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, where I try to respond to as many tweets as possible. And I'll see you guys next time right here on Comicstorian.